Zone Coverage Football Machine video exclusive. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Arif Hassan, Luke Inman, Tom Schreier, the usual gang. Arif Hassan with his Seattle Supersonics tee. Oh, I love it.
Hey. I am not voting for Howard Schultz.
What should our topic be for this one? How about this? How are the Vikings going to clear cap space? I think they're at about 2.9 right now after Anthony Barr and Shamar Stephen sign. So how are the Vikings going to open up a little room to sign not only their draft class, but any other free agents they might be pursuing? Give me your formula, Arif, Mr. Supersonic.
Well, okay, so
Sean
the first thing to consider is that after the top 51 calculations and the draft class, the Vikings have about $200,000 in draft space. So they would only be able to sign people to veteran minimum contracts, which have a different cap effect than the actual amount of money they get paid out, which sounds not ideal, I think.
You wouldn't be getting a Dan Bailey midseason, let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the room that you need. So you could roll into the season with the roster that you have, plus the draft class, and kind of hope it works out. And I don't think that that's great. I think that they need to create about $5 million in buffer room before they can even sign anybody. Mm-hmm. And I think the easiest way to do that is to trade Trae Waynes, in part because you've got the depth at corner to kind of absorb that hit, in part because I don't think you're going to be able to keep Trae Waynes after his deal expires, and so you're left with, hopefully, a third-round compensatory pick in 2021, or you could get a third-round pick now, which is in theory 2 rounds better, or even maybe a second-round pick. It depends on kind of who you're talking to and stuff like that. I think the Vikings leverage has gone up in those deals, by the way, because we're after his contract has become guaranteed. Everson is reportedly considering a contract restructuring that can clear up to $7 million. So that gives you $16 million, about $11 million to work with a $5 million buffer room. I don't think you're going to actually clear $7 million with the restructure, but maybe another 5. And so those are kind of the 2 most important things. The Vikings have not approached Kyle Rudolph with a restructure. I don't think that they will. I don't know that there are really any other moves that you could make besides those 2 big ones that can clear more than a couple $100,000 here or there.
Sure. Luke?
Yeah, not too much to add. I've been banging the table to trade a guy like Trae Waynes for a lot of what Arif already mentioned. Do $12 million. That again, at this point with their depth. I mean, we've poked quite a bit of fun at Mike Zimmer and Spielman for drafting so many cornerbacks, but when you look at how well they've all developed and now the surplus, there's not a better time, I don't think, to trade a guy like Trae Waynes. Given, again, it's the pass-happy league. You got to have 3 good corners, and there's a lot of teams that were looking for corners this year. Bad news for them, it's a bad cornerback draft just in general. We've had 2 great quarterback classes the years prior, not this year. And then the free agent cornerback class is not great either. Right. So there would never be a better time as far as getting the most value out of Trae Waynes. You try to get a second. If you can only get a third, take it. Again, maybe invest that back into another corner if you want. But the point is, that's how you can get rid of a big chunk and still not lose a drop-off in talent for starters anyways.
Right. And which teams do you think? So I think obviously the Chiefs are up there as a potential team.
I'm looking at teams that have extra picks. Raiders have a ton of them. Chiefs have Raiders 2 seconds, and I believe 2/3. The Eagles are in the market or looking for that third cornerback. Hate to trade them to a rival like the Eagles, but again, they can soak up that contract. They have ammo. They got a couple extra seconds and thirds as well.
And I would think even in the AFC West, the Chargers could use because they don't get to count on like Jason Verrett anymore. They want to pair someone with Casey Hayward. They do a pretty good job of making sure that their corners kind of stand out. So I mean, the entire AFC West, right? And then you don't have to deal with them in conference. But I think there's a lot of potential trade partners.
I think you have to count on money coming off the books in some fashion from the Everson Griffin deal because this team knows it needs to clear money, right? Trae Waynes' money's now guaranteed, so if you can't trade him, you're going to end up paying Trae Waynes. Everson Griffin still has 2 days until his money gets guaranteed. That's on Friday. So if he chooses not to restructure, I think this team is prepared to let him go, knowing they need that capital. I think maybe you could restructure Adam Thielen's contract, save a couple million there, but for the most part...
And give him a long-term raise at the same time.
Sure, you can give him more money and reduce the cap number with a cash-over-cap type deal that could maybe clear up 2 or 3. With the Griffin money, suddenly you're in the 8 figures with a little bit of wiggle room. We'll see what the Vikings do in the coming days. Zone Coverage Football Machine, check it out on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts.